Do y'all think that the reactionary, um, the oh my gosh, last year, oh my gosh, Penny, oh my gosh, like to me, that feels like emotionally immature for Tiger fans to continuously do that. Um, is that unfair of me, or is that like to me? It feels like at some point Tiger fans need to get better at reacting to losses. Like losses happen, right? Like was anybody expecting this team to, you know, to go undefeated in this non-conference schedule? Like I get it's Arkansas State, but these kinds of things happen, and I guess my question is this: is it an emotionally immature response to consistently go from this team is great to all of a sudden fire Penny? This is last year. This is his history. This is his tenure. To me, it just feels emotionally immature. Am I wrong on that?
If it was just one lot, like if that had happened after the Auburn game, yeah. But I don't think it's. I think you've got to take everything into account, right? This isn't like a one-off. This is something that continuously happens every year, and people are getting a little bit of PTSD from it, right? Last year you had the 15-2 start, and then you come out and you lose 4 games straight to all inferior teams. The year prior didn't necessarily really happen, except I guess you lost 2 of 3 when you lost like that away Tulane game and then UCF. You had a very similar stretch where you felt like you started the season strong. You got a good quality win against Virginia Tech, and then you lost 4 straight, 2 of which were to far inferior teams in Georgia and Ole Miss. And then you had another 3-game losing streak to inferior teams in East Carolina, USF, and SMU. So I think it's just a culmination of, it seems like this kind of stuff happens. It's not just like a one loss. And I think it's also the way that yesterday happened, right? Again, to TJ and I's point, it wasn't like Arkansas State came out and just shot the cover off the ball and shot 60% from the field and 50% from 3. I mean, they literally shot, what was it, 36% from the field and 33% from 3. Like, that's not mind-blowing numbers. It's not like they just came out and made ridiculous shot after ridiculous shot and beat us. We were leaving guys open. They hit timely shots, and you got blown out on your. I mean, the game was never close, to be honest. Like, I think that's what's playing a part. And I think if you hadn't had those previous losing streaks or moments where you're losing to teams as a double-digit favorite prior, and I think it gets amplified because any loss for us is magnified greatly because it impacts our resume so much. We have no opportunity. Like, if we played in the Big 12 and we just lost Arkansas State, it's not that big of a deal because literally every other night in conference play is a quad 1 or quad 2 opportunity.
Yeah.
But if you look currently where we're at with the net rankings and what our schedule looks like, do you guys know how many? Do you not guess how many quad 3 and quad 4 games we will play this year as of today?
How many we will play?
Yes, total. 20.
10. Yeah, 10. I was doing the math at every Tulsa game.
We are literally projected to play 20 quad 3 and 4 games. So, like, I think all of that plays a role. And I don't think it's just one loss, get it with or penny. I think it's everything that's happened, right? It's a culmination of seeing these losing streaks before. It feels very similar. It feels like the same things are happening. So we'll see. I mean, you come out in these next 2 weeks, you go even 3-1, and I think it's water under the bridge. Nobody's thinking about Arkansas State anymore.
Yeah, Trey hit it exactly what I was going to say. I think it's the fact that you lost Arkansas State heading into the gauntlet of Clemson, Virginia Tech, State, and then Ole Miss, or maybe it's Ole Miss then State, whatever that is. That's 4 tough games, man, and you have a good chance of going 1-4, 0-4 in that series. Hopefully, you go 3-1. But dropping one before then is not ideal. And as Trey said, like we have this a decent sample size at Penny, for 7 years of dropping a game that you have no business losing, be it a Tulane, be it a Tulsa. They may have even gotten swept by Tulsa at one point, right? So it's just little things like that. You're just like, they just can't get out of their way. Like, why can't we ever seem to get out of our own way, you know? And I think we hold ourselves to this higher standard as a program, but we don't have that. You know, Houston holds itself to a higher program. They're not losing to Elon, right? They're not losing to Mercer. That's a bad example because those aren't programs that are likely going to win their conference, but you get my point. Memphis has no business losing to Arkansas State. So I think that's why people are frustrated. And this is exactly the question I was going to follow up with you is, who hurt you on Twitter? I saw your post about the 14 ranked teams lost. Why are we only talking about Memphis and Penny? It's because we're Memphis fans, baby. We're in Memphis. So we're not going to talk about
Newsflash,
Wisconsin.
Kenny. This show is called Tigers Untapped, not NCAA basketball.
No, I
Untapped.
wasn't talking about specifically.
He's not talking
us.
about us. I know.
I know.
wasn't talking about
He
y'all.
said we. But it's just because they're Memphis fans. I mean, they don't care about any of the other teams losing. Like,
Yeah,
I just
who are you
think
following.
Well,
That's just
no,
blasted Memphis
I mean,
nonstop.
well, a lot. I mean, Jeff Goodman came out and blasted Memphis. A bunch of
Jeff Goodman always
like I'm just
blasts Memphis,
saying,
no matter
it
what.
happens. Like it happens. There's media members in members in the city of Memphis that literally will not say a word about Penny Hardaway or the Tigers in a good way until they lose a game, and then it turns around and they come out and they say stuff, and it's just like, okay, I get it. Like people have their axe to grind. They have their, whatever feelings they have towards, Penny Hardaway as a person. And I just go, it just doesn't. I think what really triggered me, honestly, was Kansas has lost twice this week. They lost 2 games in a row. And I actually went and researched it, and I saw what, how Bill Self responded to it. I saw how some the media questions around those 2 losses were. Like I saw those things, and I just go, I am ready for the day that Memphis media and Memphis fans can respond to, yes, critique the game. The game was terrible. That's why you didn't see me try to whitewash that game and say, no, they played great. They played great. They just got beat. They didn't play well. They played horribly. But it's more so the overreaction to the status of the program and the quality of Penny Hardaway or as a head coach. That's the part that it's that overreaction that I just go, we have got to be more emotionally mature about how we handle these things, because I get it. And I know everybody's going to come back in the comments and say, well, we're not Kansas. We haven't won a championship. We're not this. I get that. I understand that. But even Kelvin Sampson, you mentioned Houston a few minutes ago. He comes out and he says, non-conference is about testing my team. And he said, my team, and I get it. We're not Houston. We don't play in the Big 12. So we're not, getting those kind of that kind of rub in terms of conference play. But he's like, I don't care about wins and losses in that non-conference. I want to test my team and see where we're at. And I go, I appreciate that, because there are, like, I'm a big fan of like trying to figure out, like, learning, taking things from games like this and going, okay, how can we fix that, instead of just blah, like, why, like, oh my gosh, this season's over. I get it. Memphis is in a different position because of their conference, because they're going to play 20 quad 3, quad 4 games. I get that. I know it's a different scenario. We're not Houston. We're not Kansas. I get that schedule says all that. I've appreciated seeing the reactions from those fans than I have more so Tiger fans about this loss.